haven't made a video in forever. I don't know if I'm sorry about that, but you know, things have been really busy here. And I really haven't felt like making a video for a while. Phil asked me to do a couple of takes on some Blue Eyes stuff, and you know, so I did him the favor because, you know, Phil and I are good friends, and you know, I'm not trying to fail the guy. So I did the takes, and I was like, man, you know what? Maybe I'll just make another video. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the Dark Magician pull rates and stuff like that. So you know, this is going to include some takes on modern Yu-Gi-Oh, and I do have a lot of opinions, and I won't put them all out there because I don't want to be a guy who like pushes people, you know, to certain places in the market. I don't feel like dealing with that drama and the fallout and all that stuff, like, and I don't want to be accused of, you know, trying to influence the market and stuff like that. You know, I make enough money. I don't need to be in a position to influence the market to support myself. So I would rather just provide some thoughts, some lucid thoughts on the recent Dark Magician release. So I chose to not buy the English one, even for $150. I won't buy it. And it's not because I don't think it's not worth it, right? I mean, I think the card is worth $150. It's like 1 in 2 cases or whatever. Like, we actually don't even know the pull rate, right? We don't know the fucking pull rate. So let's just be honest about that, because people suppose about like how rare this card is or whatever. And now there's literally tons of them. Like, you could pile them all up on a scale and there would be tons of them, 2,000 pounds at least. So there are a lot out there, and we don't know the pull rates. It is extremely risky to go out there and spend $500 on this card. And then, like, now there's tons of them. Like, people are just pulling them left and right. And, of course, the very first thing people want to do is they want to sell them because they know right now they need to get this card off of it because it's hot, right? People want that card. It has no rarity chase, right? So it has no rarity chase. And what I mean by that is, you know, when you look at, like, Starlight, I guess rarity chasing is not really the right term. It has no collectability, generally speaking, because it doesn't fit into a niche category. It's a one-off card, right? And so my desire to take it and put it into a set is extremely low. It doesn't even have the Battle of Chaos set identifier, so it doesn't even fit in that set. So what is it, right? Like, how do I collect it? And that, I think, is a good question to ask when you look at cards like this, right? Say, like, what kind of collectability is this card going to have? Is it rare? Does it look good? Does it fit into a genre of collectability? Collectibles. Sorry, my brain. You know, when you look at Starlights, for example, right, or Ghost Rares, they all belong to a genre of collectible. So even like GLD5, right? Like, even those Ghost Rares fit into the huge expanse that is the Ghost Rares that are available between like 2007 and, you know, whenever you want to end it. Even if you say now, like 2021, 2022, because there's another Ghost Rare set coming out. So, like, those fit into a collection. People collect Ghost Rares. People collect Starlight Rares. People don't collect Ultra Rares. There are too many of them. It's like too much. People collect Ultimate Rares, right? These are quantifiable, collectible genres that people can fit things into. So when they look at Dark Magician, right, this 25th EN001, how do I collect it? I don't, right? Like, and that's the answer for a lot of people. Like, they have it in their, like, super sexy, like, high-end binder, high-end $100 or more, $50 more, whatever you want to call it. So, you know, that's how people collect it. That's the only way to collect it, really. So it doesn't even fit into other categories of collectibles. Ghost Rares, like, you could put those into, like, booster sets, right? Because TDGS, you know, Stardust Dragon is a part of the master set. You can collect the master set, and Stardust Dragon fits into that master set, right? Dark Magician does not. It is not a Battle of Chaos card. It is from that set. It came in the pack, but it is not a part of that set. It has a different set identifier, right? Like Starlights, for example, another thing that you can put into a master set. Those Ghost Rares also fit into the huge expanse of Ghost Rares. You can put that in there. You can also put that Ghost Rare into your high-end binder, just like Dark Magician, right? So all those other cards have different ways to be collected, but Dark Magician does not, It can only be collected in one format, and that is it's worth more than $100. I'm gonna put it in my binder, right? There's no like it can't fit into LART. It's a Bandai reprint. It's a promo. Like it doesn't fit into Shonen Jump. Like to Jump promos, it doesn't fit fucking anywhere. It's just worthless. Like in my opinion, like I have no desire to collect it. It's not rare. We don't know the pull rates. It doesn't fit into sets. It's not a rarity chase. Like unless we knew what the rarity pull rate was, which we don't, right? So like it's barely expensive. Barely. I mean, I understand this is relative. So, anyways, I don't think that it's something that it's not something I want to collect. It's not something I want to collect. It may be something that people want to collect, like people like it and whatever. Like, I chose to buy the Japanese one. I chose to buy the Japanese one because one, it looks better objectively. I mean, there's no way to argue that the English Dark Magician looks better. The foil looks like shit. The color looks like shit on the name, right? That puke yellow name. Like, I just hate the way it looks. I hate it. The art is tiny. The text box is comically large for its like one sentence. Like it doesn't look like the old Bandai card. Like it just looks like it was made like shit. I have no desire. Like, so the Japanese one is way better. The Japanese one is quantifiably rare. We know it's 2,500, limited to 2,500. That's easy, right? That I can understand. It looks good. It doesn't fit into any sets. It is a unique promo, but it's a unique promo that you can add to a series of unique promos that are released that way from the Get campaign or from the Remote Duel series or from the other limited edition lottery releases that exist. It belongs in a much broader collection than just, hey, it's a one-off that got released in a lottery. Like, there are plenty of lottery cards that get released in Japan all the time. So I think that at least fits into a somewhat nebulous collection. It's not much better, but it's a little better. I wish it did have the BOCH set identifier on it, because then it would be a little more collectible, or people who wanted to complete the set would need to have it to complete that set, which would make it more collectible. Anyways, I want to talk about rarity. Like, the supposed rarity of the Dark Magician is 1 in 2 cases, or it was 1 in 6 cases. Like, even if it was 1 in 6 cases, it is barely rarer than a Starlight. Now, some of you in the comment section might be saying, what the fuck is he talking about? He's out of his mind. Think about it like this, right? There are 5 Starlights in a set, roughly, 4 or 5. So even if you looked at Rising Rampage, you could say there are 4, right? So each one of those is 1 per case, roughly. Let's just say it's 1 per case. We'll say Dark Magician is 1 in 6 cases. If you had 5 Starlights in that set, the odds of pulling one specific Starlight is 1 in 5 cases, right? You would have to open 5 consecutive cases to get each Starlight rare. And in the 6th case, you would get the Dark Magician and a Starlight rare. So the Dark Magician is 1 in 6 cases. Any given Starlight is 1 in 5 cases. Just barely rarer than a Starlight. Now, if it's 1 in 2 cases, it's not rarer than a Starlight. It's actually 2 times more common. Really, it's a little more than 2 times more common. It's like 2.25 times more common, right? Than a Starlight. It's not even rarer than a Starlight. And since it comes in the booster set that the Starlights are also in, it has to be like the same. Like the ratio has to be the same, because it's not like it comes in a one-off set. We don't know what the production number of that set was. It comes in the same set as the Starlights. The production numbers are controlled. It's the same, right? Because we know, like, however many Battle of Chaos cases were made to pull the Starlights that I'm talking about by ratio were also made to pull the same, like, to pull a Dark Magician from the same set. So the variable is the same, no matter what you do. So even if you think it's like, the pull rates are different compared to ETCO or Rising Rampage or whatever, Eternity Code, I think that's what it is. You know what I mean? Like, in Battle of Chaos, it is the same. The production numbers are the same. So if they made it 1 in 2 cases, right? And let's just say they made 100, for example, 100 cases, right? I'll just say they made 100 cases. 1 in 2 cases, there would be 50 Dark Magicians, right? 1 in 5 cases, right? That would be what? 20 starlights or whatever of each starlight, right? 20 of each starlight. So it's not like if you increase the quantity of, anything, it increases the quantity of Dark Magicians. Like, it has to be, the ratio is the same. The variable's the same. It's control. So I don't see the appeal, and I'm glad to see the card tanked. Honestly, like I'm glad to see it tanked, because like it really gets to something that I hate to see in the market, right? Because guys get on YouTube and they talk about, oh my god, like this card is gonna be so fucking rare. Like, I can't wait to pull it. Oh my god, watch my YouTube. Please watch my YouTube. Please watch my thumbnail. It's got to have the thumbnail. Like, oh my god, like Dark Magician thumbnail. Like, it's gonna be fantastic. We're going to suppose and conjecture and innuendo and metaphors, and it is so rare. Trust me, buy it, right? And then some dude goes out and spends $800 on it, right? And people are like, oh no, it's not that rare anymore. Like $150 and it's good. Like, and so now that guy ate shit because he went to somebody's YouTube and they said all of this garbage, right? Like, we don't know how rare it is, and people say things like, well, compared to this and compared to that, like. It's not the same. We don't know what the production number is. We don't know. Like, and if you don't know, like, just say it. Just be like, hey, man, we don't know. Like, they're telling us it's 1 in 6 cases, but there could be 1 million cases made. So what does that really mean? It doesn't mean anything. I emailed Konami and I asked them what the production numbers were and what the pull rates were, and they told me nothing. They didn't tell me anything. They said, I'm sorry, we don't have any comment at this time. We can't tell you anything. Perfect. Thank you. That's all I wanted to know, right? And that's the game, right? That's what they do. When they release stuff, they don't tell you what the production numbers are unless they really want to appeal to people who collect rarities, right? If they want to just appeal to the mass population, they just tell you like, oh, it's like, it's rare, man. Like, we released this new product. And then the guys get on YouTube like, oh, I heard it's 1 in 6 cases, man. Like, I heard it's one. If you look at sports cards, right, they only made this many sports cards, and this is like what I think. They only made 10,000 cases. Like, turns out they made 1 million cases, right? And it's 1 in 2. So there's 5 million fucking versions of it or whatever. I'm sorry, 500,000 copies out there. Like, is it rare? No, it's not rare. I'm sorry. Like, and I'm glad that this happened, because this is like, honestly, like, this is what happens, right? And it is what it is, right? People got to make their money, right? Like, guys go on YouTube and whatever. I just feel bad for the suckers who go and watch the YouTubes. Like, I barely watch people on YouTube. Fucking barely, right? Because I can't stand it. Like, really, like, it's just boring to me, because, guys get on YouTube and they, like, it's just all, like, hype. It's just all hype. Like, I cannot listen to it anymore. I don't care. I can't tell you how much I don't care. Like, it pushes me away from YouTube completely. Anyways, if I had to choose, and I did have to choose, I would choose the Japanese version, right? Again, quantifiably rare, right? We can say, we know how much they made, right? Do we know how much, like, are there extras? Oh no, like the extra conversation. Like, yes, a logical fallacy. Thank you very much. Yes, there are extras, but even with the extras, right? Like, we can assume that the extras that were made are like 150, like 500, 1,000. Like, it's still more, no matter what number you add to it, it is still more rare. Still, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. And to the extent that it matters, right? You could take that same variable and say, like, okay, there were extras made. Call that extra quantity X, right? That same variable applies to the other side of your equation. So when you put the X on both sides of the equation, it's balanced still. It's still balanced. So if there were extras made for the lottery card, there were extras made for the promo that they released in English. Okay, great. Yep, it doesn't mean anything. Your metric provides no additional, like, weight to your argument. It doesn't. So, because again, it's all conjecture, right? It's all supposition. So, anyways, thank you for coming and watching. I owe you guys a little bit more in terms of, like, YouTubes. So, I haven't been feeling it recently, and when I made the video for Phil, I was already here. I figured I'd already sit down, but I'll tell you, man, like, YouTube tires me. Plus, like, I know how the grind is, man. Like, especially with Phil, like, who worked his second job for a while he made YouTube videos. And I don't know how he did it. Like, I come home from work and I don't don't want to get on YouTube and make a video, man. Like, so I like kudos to you, dog, like for doing all that work and stuff like that. Like, he really deserves the street cred, and Phil is just like an amazing dude, far kinder human than I am, for sure, better human being, 100%. Anyways, man, tip my hat to you, Phil. Hopefully the clip I sent you comes in handy. So, anyways, thanks again, dudes, and I will attempt to make more YouTube videos, but appreciate everyone who tunes in and continues to watch, and I'll try and provide some more things. I need to update some reprint stuff anyway, so maybe I'll do some of that. Thanks again, guys.